To breaking news now, as High Court bench led by Judge Nate Ndauedapo has declared the sodomy law as invalid and unconstitutional. Now, the verdict comes after activist Friedel Dausab asked the court to declare sodomy laws criminalising consensual sexual activity between male adults null. Now, our reporter Gordon Joseph was at the landmark verdict delivery and joins us in studio. Good afternoon. Gordon, of course, you've been following this case quite extensively. Just give us an update of this morning's court developments.
Well, Sama, there were very emotional scenes. Activists that we spoke to prior to the verdict, all they said the same thing to them. This, if it's in their favor, it would be an intention to love legally and freely. The judgment, as we heard this morning, the common law offense of sodomy is declared unconstitutional and invalid. Activists, LGBTIQ people and their allies broke out in song and dance outside of court. But there were also some emotional scenes. Friedel Dausab, who of course was accompanied by his mother, addressed the crowd outside. Activists that we all spoke to said that this is a landmark moment for Namibia. And for many, it's the start of perhaps acquiring, accessing more rights. We know that this case has been very polarizing. It's divided the nation in many ways. We've seen in the past how those in opposition to this case have spoken out and spoken about the need to perhaps have this be discussed by the National Assembly and not be in the hands of court. But we've also heard the court said the common law offense of unnatural sexual offences is declared unconstitutional and invalid, as well as the inclusion of the crime of sodomy in the Criminal Procedure Act as declared unconstitutional and invalid. The court also ordered the respondents to pay the legal fees of Dausab. The respondents in this case were the Minister of Justice as the first respondent, with the Minister of Home Affairs, Safety and Security, the Ministry of Defence and Veterans Affairs as the third respondent, the Prosecutor General as the fourth respondent, and the Attorney General as the fifth respondent. So for many of the LGBTIQ people outside of court and their allies, this was a momentous moment.
You, of course, highlighted that this verdict was received with mixed emotions. Let's just take a quick look at Dausab's reaction after that verdict.
The one thing that I realized back then was that the sodomy law was standing in the way of providing services of young gay men like myself. So I was 25 at that time, being free from HIV. Because we couldn't freely express our sexuality, it was regarded as a crime. Now today, I hope that those 25 years old, like I was 25 years ago, are able to start dreaming of a love that is not a crime. It is a milestone for the history of Namibia and for our constitutional democracy. The reason why I challenged the sodomy law was because personally it really hampered me. In many of the relationships that I've had, they've had to remain a secret because sodomy was a crime. And I hope today's landmark judgment means that we can hold hands in public, we can start introducing our lovers to our families, we can be public about our love, and we can celebrate our love.
Quiet and he's quite expressive, you know, based on that verdict. But of course, now we know that the matter has been finalized, removed from the roll. What is the way forward? Gordon?
Well, we spoke to Dausab after the court hearing, and him and other activists said something interesting, that this judgment does open the door for other court cases, perhaps related to marriage equality. And we saw what the other Supreme Court judgment related to marriage equality did and how divisive it is. So I think I was scrolling, Selma, a bit on Twitter right before our interview, and considering the year that we're in, a lot of young people also want to know how perhaps candidates are going to respond to this judgment in this election year. Will it be a campaign talking point? And just, will it divide the nation, or will it bring people together? So these are interesting times.
All right. Well, Gordon Joseph, thank you so much for that update this afternoon.